we are not here to represent Solidscape. We're here as jewelers within the industry because of our passion for what we do, just to share that simply with folks, okay? Yes, we do own their equipment, part of it. We're passionate about the equipment itself. Highly recommend it. But Alex is here to kind of give you a feel for how to get started with it, I guess.
Well, already that tells me all the faces here, you all have passion for jewelry. Whether you're designing, manufacturers, you're starting out with more of the mechanical side of it, everybody has a passion for it. And, you know, really what we're going to talk about first is making that transition. A lot of you are already been using CAD for a number of years. Some of you are thinking about just getting into it. So let's just quickly, how many people are using CAD in their stores right now? Sort of? You can raise your hand. So we got a couple?
Are you using CAD now?
Yeah. Okay, you're using CAD. Have you been using it for a number of years? Okay, that's a number of years. Do you feel like you've gone over that learning curve where you can, you know what I'm talking about. Do you ever get past that learning curve? I'll tell you that the technical part of it is, there is a learning curve. And, but that's not to deter you away from it, because there are so many technicians out there today who are creative, resourceful, that are willing to help, that are willing to kind of jump in and get your design or your model or whatever, your collection, to that next level. I'll be quite honest, when I started with CAD, there was only a handful of us that were willing to even take it on. And it was so technical. My background is a bench jeweler. I am a bench jeweler. I didn't write code, so I didn't know too much. I knew how to copy and paste. That's about it. I could check my email, get through like that. So, but when it really came down to the more the technical aspects of it, switching the files over to STL, I was a little bit lost. So thank goodness the software that I work with had manuals, and you know, and that's where the passion comes in, is with anything that you've ever wanted to do and you have a passion for it, you are tenacious and you go through and you go step by step and you figure out, how am I going to get from A to B? What's going to fulfill that passion? So at the end, I have exactly what I had in my mind, the very first thing that I was thinking of. So let's just kind of jump into, what I did was I just came up with a couple of ideas of benefits of why having CAD designs in your store would be beneficial. Why would you even consider it? The first being a continuous digital inventory of everything that you've ever made ever, period. You can just keep that. I have files in here, it's somewhere, that I made back in 2002. I go back to them and I think, oh God, you know, who wants that now? But maybe the style is outdated, but the curves, the lines, the gemstones that I created, the things that, the ideas or that concept that initially came from that, copy, paste, put them into my new design, recycle them. So instead of looking through sketchbooks, sketchbook after sketchbook of ideas that you had years and years ago, you have a digital copy and you have already, and you're on step 3 rather than starting from 0 again. So it gives you a head start, it also gives you inspiration. So not only is it a great head start, but if anyone's selling online, right now? Show of hands.
No.
Nobody's selling online. The internet is dead.
I don't blame you. It's a lot of work. We started recently, and I know where she's going with this, is that being able to produce some amazing renderings and keeping them consistent allows you to be able to populate a website of same style and various different options.
Rose gold, yellow gold, white gold, moonstone, diamond. So you're getting a full inventory of your designs with options, every single model you've ever made.
If it doesn't help you sell jewelry, at least get people into your store.
Yeah, and it also shows your versatility as well. You know, there's a lot of jewelry out there. It's a big show. You see a lot of the same recycled designs over and over again. We see a lot of that. There's a lot of emergence of bringing back designs from, you know, 1970, 1980s. That's coming back again. So showing your versatility. Maybe you won't necessarily make a sale online, but it's going to show what you can do. It's going to show your creativity. So that kind of brings me to the second portion of this, is kind of being able to offer a wide array of services. So maybe you're not technical enough to actually get through in the beginning, going from zero to a complete design, but you can sketch. You can work with your client and kind of wow them on an eternity ring. You know, you make it real quick and they go, wow, you know, that's really cool. But there's so many different things that you can use with CAD within your business today that maybe you haven't even thought of yet. When we started, it was more custom designs. Today we use CAD for creating parts, for restorations, pieces that were never created before, but we want them to look like they were created in 1920. Parts.
And they do, when they're done.
Oh, I have one.
Combination of her skills and technology, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. You can make undergalleries that virtually image, you know, a mirror image of the other undergallery that you had. Restorations, for instance, like we just, oh yeah, we're talking about that right now. So we have a large restoration division within our company. We bring in older pieces that have been gently worn or loved for many, many years, and it's an heirloom. It's something that you know, has been in the family for years, and it's devastating to see a new bride put it on, she wears it for 6 months, and it completely falls apart on her. She didn't know. She had no idea. No one told her that this is fragile, that it's, you know, the platinum is completely wearing your undergallery, you know, at 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock it's cracked and the entire shank falls off. Why did that happen? So being able to take all the dimensions, all the style, basically everything about that girl's heirloom, and either create parts for it, just the undergallery, or creating the entire ring for her.
Or replicate missing parts that she can't go out and buy.
Has anybody had a customer who dropped their ring into a garbage disposal?
I think that's happened to all of us, no?
Right? Okay. So, has anybody had a customer who dropped a ring into a garbage disposal?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. So the only thing left is that one shoulder. You know, that's it. The rest is just a mangled piece of nothing. Being able to take that one shoulder, recreate it, mirror that, and then create the rest of the ring it's magic to many people. So yeah. So those are a couple of the benefits of working with CAD within your store. But just know that you're not alone. There are technicians out there. There's resources. I mean, the internet is huge. There's resources out there that can get you to the next step. If you feel like whatever software that you're working with is just too daunting, it's just too daunting, you just kind of take a deep breath, go online, go to YouTube, go to the forums. There's community forums for each one of these softwares. They have forums, they have people who've been through what you are experiencing, and all you need to do is just keep clicking to find the answer. It is out there. Do you guys have any questions? Go somewhere, because if not...
CAD software that you comfortable with or seems easier for a new user?
You know, I jumped in right with GemVision, and I'm not, saying to go in that direction. That's what I went with. I jumped in, and I'll be honest, and I'll show you right now, I'm still on version 6.3, I think. This is horrible. There's my mouse tab. Thanks. Sorry guys, this was supposed to be up already. There it is. So I work with version 6.3, and
She doesn't have a monitor this big though.
yeah, I do. I do. It's a little bit smaller than this. A little bit. So, you know, I know I was actually speaking with you about this earlier. I'll just pull this up. CAD is a tool. It's a tool like any other tool in your workshop. If you don't actually have a workshop, it's a tool just like in your office. It's just as important, and you need to feel comfortable with it. If you don't feel comfortable with the software that you're working with, you need to find a different software.
Design arm, like I don't know what it's called, but it's basically a handle and you can manipulate it.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
No, I don't, but I'm gonna.
Recently, do you use any like Wacom products or things that?
No, you know, I mean, I might be old school, but I think I'm going with what has been working for me. I'll take a digital image of a ring, click, I'll pull it in, and I'll create a shadow ring just from that, you know, where other people will literally scan the ring in and they'll be able to pull it up and they have a three-dimensional image of their original ring that they're working with. I don't necessarily, I just need that one curve and that's all I'm concerned with, just moving on, you know. When it comes to sketching, if I'm, you know, anybody who does any sketching?
Paper.
Okay, so you get your favorite napkin at the bar, you're sketching it out, and we all know that that's really what you meant. That was your first rendition, that was from your heart, that was the one that you want to do. I take a photograph of it. I take my phone, click, I bring it in, and I try to recreate that as much as possible now into a viable model. But I'll take exactly my napkin sketch and work with it through there. So, like I said, maybe I'm old school, but
I think that's very the organic with, you know,
yeah.
technology. You can't necessarily just
Start from scratch. Although I think it does take a while to be able to sketch within the program, and there you go, there he is, there he is. So do you sketch within your program right now? Can you do that?
Yeah, I do a little bit.
Okay.
Depending on what it is.
Yeah, but did you find that in the beginning that,
My father used to do all the sketching, and then I
Yep.
take his and put it.
so you're able to take his sketch and create with that. Now, do you do anything just completely free form that was not on a piece of paper first?
Depending on what it is.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I've watched her go from being not so good at sketching three-dimensionally to working with CAD after many years to being amazing at being able to sketch dimensionally now that, I've actually watched the transition throughout the year. So using CAD, being able to use CAD as a tool,
Sorry.
I think also increases your ability to be able to sketch in three dimensions. So they'll be able to
As
do
cool
that
as this
in
was.
front of a camera, amazing, you know.
I'll just do it this way. So, plastic. All right, so this is what I was actually referring to earlier. So this kind of all started on the bow. And I created a bow and I decided I think that's a cute bow. It's a pendant. I've made it for a bracelet, you know, the little thin bracelets with the chain on it. And then I decided, you know, I love this bow so much. Let me make a cute, fun ring. So this is actually on our website right now. It's an adorable ring. Just with, you know, I think they're 4mm trillions on there. But I'm able to take the bow, work it into like a cute fashion ring. That could be for a little girl's ring, sweet 16. And then, hold on. Then we move that to an engagement ring. So from here, I mean, there's earrings. So now we've kind of created a full collection. So you're taking your first idea and then you're saying, okay, well, let me group that. Let me change that one element. So it's that one piece that you can take and kind of work it into other pieces to make your cohesive collection. So that's one idea. This is another. Now this is old school. I found this, whoa, sorry. I found this years ago. Who's a gamer? So I grabbed this off the internet when you could. Look at this. You even got the thingies in the back.
Before having to buy them now?
Before you have to buy them. No, I think you can still get free models on the internet. But I made a ring out of it. I just thought it was really cool. I'm definitely a big gamer. Eternity rings. Here's one.
Come forward.
Yeah. So, who makes eternity rings? Everyone. Conventionally, when you're selling an eternity ring in your store and someone wants a quote, how much is it going to be for 4 millimeters around my finger size 5? Can you give them a quote immediately? You have to figure out how many stones, right? You got to know what's it going to weigh, how many stones it's going to be. You don't want to shortchange yourself. Having CAD already loaded up, you load up your finger size. You know how tall the ring is going to be. It's probably going with an engagement ring. Put your gemstones in there and you array it. It takes about
2 minutes.
maybe.
We're able to quote a customer immediately because she's able to do this for us. Sometimes in the office, sometimes right in front of the client. So, which is pretty neat.
Yep. So being able to do eternity rings are.
And by the way, not to sound like I'm keeping home from Solidscape, if you do eternity rings, their printers are really the only one out there that can create them without much complication. One of the reasons
You mean
why I
like
bought
clean?
it.
You mean like having them clean? And
there aren't
like-
a whole lot of supports that you have to deal with, and it just
You mean shrinkage
it
and?
becomes it just becomes a mess. The model itself becomes like if you're using for factories, for example, Vision Tech, you need a ridiculous amount of supports for that. It just doesn't. It just can't happen. So
Oh, I see what you're
Solidscape
saying. Yeah.
equipment allows it. It's being printed flat.
Yeah, what is the cleanup like on the parts that you use? Is it minimal cleanup?
Minimal.
Like
Oh,
when you
it's
get
just
parts
it's
and-
essentially heating up the board to take the models off, and then putting it into a solution that's also warm to take the support off. It's as simple as that.
Do you mean the surface area?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. So the surface area, of course, you can change the resolution when you go to print, right? So you can have a higher resolution print or a lower resolution print, depending on what your need is. If you want it to go faster, obviously lower resolution. If you're, you care really about the surface of it. Good question, because recently I did a ring, very large platinum ring, and my aesthetic is kind of this really organic, curly whirly type of thing, with a background base to it. So resolution is huge. I don't want to matte finish everything and then go in, so
We're still working with Solidscape Legacy printer. We're in a R66 Plus, and we're extremely happy with it.
And we are.
But we did just purchase the S3Z, and we haven't taken delivery on it yet. I'm extremely excited because I'm learning about it while we're here, and it's crazy. The technology.
I think
in
that'll
5
just
years,
take
it's
take
just-
everything kind of
yeah.
to the next level. So
From
I'm
what I
pretty excited
understand,
about that.
It allows you to keep the res low in areas where you don't need it, and increase it in areas you do. I just found that out, and I was blown away.
I like that. I like that.
The old printers right now, so.
But this particular ring had design on top of a flat surface. Flat surfaces, if anyone's done CAD, flat surfaces are like, we want to have a curve, something that's a little easier to cast. So it had an extremely flat surface. I think we just did a regular resolution. It was like bridal season. It's like just go, 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 get it out. And when it came back from being cast, before we cleaned it, I looked at it and I went, oh, I really like that. Let's do nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, sometimes the textures can work for you.
So the texture can kind of, you play with it, and as a designer, you know whether or not you're going in that direction or not. And designs change. you know, things change, and if it's organic, it can be fluid, and it can kind of work with you. Speaking of which, that's a good segue to this. I don't want to keep you guys all day, but here's a very popular engagement ring of ours. We do this in every color, every size. It's got the details on it, but what CAD enables you to do, and I bet you it's either right on top of it or right next to it. Yeah, of course. Let's just move this over a little bit. Vintage, modern, traditional. Okay.
How's that?
Pretty easy.
Yeah. And if your client wants to see it in 3 different colors, you can do that too, right?
Yeah. And I think, yeah. So
that's another topic that we're going to talk about here. Multiple parts and color. Yeah.
Multiple parts, colors. We're also, I believe at 1 o'clock, we're talking about more vintage styles. So this kind of skirts to that a little bit, where you have the details on the sides, but being able to offer that to your clients in however they envision it, it's immeasurable. It's immeasurable, and like bam, bam, bam. You know, they should all be different colors.
I haven't seen for this, so.
He does his own thing. He does his thing. I do my thing. I'm in the corner alone in the dark room with the computer, my glasses on, you know. He's in the shop, so we try not to step in each other's world. But you know, I think as a designer, though, you want to be in every aspect of it, and that was something that we discussed earlier. Is you have a concept, and then letting go of that idea and allowing somebody else to kind of run with that. And you know, I think if you want to be comfortable with the software and put that time into it, then you can have full control. I mean, we've been doing it for years. I still need outside services. Sometimes I do need to.
Sometimes you can get overwhelmed and you just don't want to handle everything. You can't, especially if you've got a business large enough where you've got more that's coming in. You got to sleep, right? So you can find someone that can help you with the technical aspect. I call it the grunt work. You know, and there are a lot of
like grunt work.
Yeah, I mean, because it's digital, right? You can just email it. That's the coolest part.
Yeah.
Send things back and forth. You know?
And there are a lot of technicians in Canada.
Yeah. I remember the days when we were taking our designs and sending it to, you know, Oregon to be printed and the wax was mailed back. You know, it's like.
Well, even today, there are a lot of jewelers cast. You know, they'll send their waxes out to be cast, and then they're mailed back in. You know,
right.
And so it's not too far from doing that. So you're mailing out your waxes, in a sense, you're emailing it out, and then you're coming back with your actual product. So, but if you're worried more about copyright things, I know a lot of jewelers will do their own design on the inside, things that are only specific to you.
You don't want to be sending that out to be printed, right? You want your own printer.
Well, or you want to be comfortable if you are even. I mean, for years we didn't cast in-house. We're giving out our waxes. Well, who's to say they didn't cast one in brass, make a silicone mold, and put it up on their shelf and have that for years and years and years. So that's always something that's out there. But you know, working with people that you trust, working with. She's all good in there. And having that kind of that level of security and that feeling that what you're doing is you're not going to see it everywhere. You know, doing part of it. I know sometimes we'll do parts of things, and the rest is all done in-house. We have our technique, so I'll do 15 shanks, and I'll have somebody else do the shanks. But when they come home, my jeweler is making all the heads. Or I'm using heads that I have already created from something else, like that ring that I just had up there. So it gives you the versatility that just having a shop or just having a bench jeweler or just outsourcing everything can't give you. So, did anybody have any questions? I'm sure you do.
You mentioned about going online.
Mm-hmm.
You versatile jeweler with all these experiences.
Yep.
So what's your result, or what's your thoughts about trying to sell online?
Trying to sell jewelry online?
Trying to sell jewelry online, I think it's the most difficult thing you can do.
I was going to say,
So much competition.
this would be a great segue for you.
For us, we populate our website in order to allow our customers who are going to our website to see who we are and what we do.
It's my portfolio.
It's
my full portfolio.
To get people in the door. We also use our website in our showroom when we're working with clients to sell them product. So it's a great tool. And you know what? On occasions, we make a sale online. And we're happy about it because it happened while we were sleeping, So, we're jewelers. We're not tech people who are spending our entire day trying to make sure that our page is the first one to come up when someone's searching for jewelry online. It's a fierce world out there in the web, and we're not looking to compete with that.
Yeah.
We're not. But it's a great portfolio to have in order for your clients to see who you are and what you do, what you have to offer.
So the second question. I'm sure there are things you have created, particularly when you send a file to someone else, and let's say you created something which is very unusual, and somewhere along you encounter something so close, and you say, wait a minute, this looks...
It's a little too close. That happens to me weekly. Weekly. I think, I wake up in the morning and I've got this great idea, and I sit down, and within 45 minutes I have completed a ring, faster than I've completed any other ring ever. It is on that board by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The next morning I come in, it is out to be cast ASAP. I get it back that afternoon in gold. My jewelers are setting it by the next morning. In 3 days I have that ring, right? That's like how passionate I am about this design, okay? And then
I can vouch for that.
Then I go online and I say, okay, keywords. Let me list this. I'm going to just put in some keywords on it, hashtags and things like that, so that I can be found. And then I'll type it in, and there it is.
Tiffany and Company. Or, it's amazing. But it happens.
But that's my aesthetic, though. I have a very classic, traditional, timeless type of look. When I design just for me, I design things that are like this, like very organic, very curly whirly. Like I said, I put that in a lot of my designs, so I know it's me. But sometimes it happens, and I think that's being in the creative world, and with the technology today, and how fast information is bouncing around the world. You've got Instagram. Every image, app out there between
that, if you come up with a great idea, there's someone else in the world.
There's 3 people that already
came up with it. A few others that have come up with the same idea. It's true.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's flattery that somebody copies you.
Yes.
It's absolutely flattery.
But I was just thinking another option for you would be this is kind of a plug, but stick around for 3 o'clock where we have multiple parts models. So if you were to come up with a design, let's say it's completely uniquely yours, and you want to keep it completely uniquely yours. The model is created, or you create the model. Take part of it, manufacture it. Take another part of it, manufacture it. Have the 2 pieces come together. Who's going to know that part A went with part B? Or part C went with part D?
In other words, make your items in multiple parts.
Multiple parts.
It's the way the military makes the machinery.
Yeah.
Exactly. This one's made in China. This one comes from the Netherlands. So,
Going back to the drawings, what's the process to get the end?
to the end result. So for me, I will actually sketch directly into CAD. So unless it's something that is, you know, unique to my customer or that I made specifically with them, I will make something just direct into CAD. So I sketch it. When you saw the, actually I have one right here. It'll take a minute to pull up, but maybe it'll take a long time to pull up. There. So this particular ring, each one of these is a different part, different piece of the puzzle. So that's just me sketching. So you can kind of see my lines in there. You know, there's a line there and one there. There's some settings, things like that. You know, you get but this is not complete. So from here, each one of these needs to be together, and it needs to be a solid, cohesive model. You can't have different parts and pieces like this. Then you create a sprue, so something that's going to allow the metal to flow into it. It's not working. And then from there, you prepare it for the Solidscape machine or whatever printer that you're using. What we do is we turn it on its side, and it gets transferred into an STL file, and that's when I really hand it over to Hagop. But he can explain the program a little bit to you.
She gives me an STL file, and she gives it to me laying down in her world. And I convert her STL file to what's called an R6P file.
And at that
R6P. It's something that happens with actually Solidscape's software that is for their printer.
It no longer sees it as a piece of jewelry. It is now an object.
Yes. And it sees that object so that it can slice it into all the layers that you choose as far as resolution goes. So if you want very high resolution, it's going to slice it into many more layers. If you want low resolution, it's going to slice it in less layers. So and that's what the printer's going to see.
So what
it sees. It sees each of those layers, and it prints each of those layers one layer at a time.
So when he's talking about layers, he means, and this actually you can see on the Solidscape machine, but I'm going to do it virtually right here, is that as my cursor is going across here, you're seeing that it's just licking the top of that, it's touching the gray, it's hitting the blue, it's hitting the blue, hitting that, and not the gray. And then you go up, it hits the gray, it hits the blue, it hits the green. So that file gets changed into slices, different slices, exactly. And that's how the printer reads it, as either build material or support material. You're either building or supporting. It's one or the other.
She lays this ring down, and I decide I want it to be a high-res build as far as the printer goes. It could be 400 layers. And the printer sees each of those layers and produces them one at a time. And that's what an R6P file is. It's what the printer sees.
So for something like this, it's going to see the tip of this, most of this, the tip of this. Come back through, tip of this, some of that, most of this. You know, it goes back and forth, and each one of these tiny little balls, it doesn't see it as tiny little balls. It just sees it as like a little piece that's sticking out or something like that. So
it's almost like a Lego.
Layer after layer. Yep. Layer after layer.